Corsi, the son of Honor Code, who earned over $2 million in just 11 starts, is here and ready to do business. Corsi is here to do business. Corsi is here to do business. But pause on that. Let's get going, man. Brand new year. I'm really excited to have this jockey to be my first guest for the year. You know what? It doesn't make sense for me to keep going on and on and on with this jockey, but I just want to let people know out there, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, like, please share, you know, do your best to stay with us while we entertain you and put you on to all the news and goodies about horse racing and jockeys and trainers and grooms and who else is part of this industry. But our next guest, he's no stranger to this platform. He's been here many times before. You know what? He's the one and only. The one and only. Rocco Bowen, man. Welcome to the stage.
Hey, good night, guys. Hey, Derek.
Rocco, man. Welcome back to the platform, man.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Glad to be back on, man. You know.
I'm glad to have you back on. You know, it's been a minute, you know.
It been, man. It been. Since last time that was August, in Ohio.
Ohio and then Toronto.
Toronto.
You know?
Yeah, I was getting to that. You know, it's like been a minute, man.
Yeah, you know what? But you know what? It's been a lot of fun. Last year, can we say officially? No, it's been a minute. Last year has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, last year we a lot
Brand
of
new
fun.
year.
It's been a minute now, man. Like it seems like forever ago, man.
Yeah. So you know that was last year. But this year we got a brand new year. You know the slate is empty. We can get going. You know, how you feeling?
Feeling strong, feeling good. You know, took quite a few lashes this week, but you know that's in it. You know,
We're gonna get right into that, but before we get into that, we're gonna recap the year. We're gonna talk about this. Who is Caden Dixon, man?
oh, that's my son.
Oh, tell him to log on to the YouTube channel. I think he's in the backstage. If he wants to be a star, bring him on. Let him talk. You know.
Yeah. He probably could hear you, man. So he likes to subscribe. So I wouldn't be surprised if he subscribes really quickly, man.
You want to bring him on live or you just
for sure. I would love to bring him on live.
Yeah, is his mom, is he good with that? Because you know, I don't want to offend nobody.
Yeah, mom's probably listening, so mom would probably text here and there if she's cool or not with it. But I'm pretty sure he'll love to jump on, man.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's bring him on. Let's see what he got to say. Let's talk to him, man. Let's talk to the kid. We love the kids. Let's talk to the kid and see what's up. All
For
right.
sure. Yes.
All right. See what's going on here.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Caden?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. But yeah.
I'm gonna remove him for now, Rocco. I think he's tripping a little bit there.
Yeah, he can't believe it, man. He's probably texting all his friends right now, telling his friends that he's on a live interview with Dad, man.
We love the kids, though, man. We love the kids.
Oh yeah, they're the future, man. They're the future, man. You know.
Hey, look, I'll tell Caden, pass this YouTube link to all your friends and let them log on and see what's going on, man. They can see you. You know.
I'm telling you, he's probably on it, man. I mean, he's baffled right now. You know.
I know you gotta put a shirt on, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna send him a quick message. I don't know how to to get out without. I don't want to skip off, but I was telling him quick message and tell him put a shirt on.
Yeah, I got you, bro. I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
All right. Well, you know what? Let's get going, man. Let's recap this year. I'm sorry, last year.
last year
Um,
it feels so.
last year.
I said my man D always telling me when we're having fun, it never feels like it ends. So I guess that's why it still feels to us like last year.
Did you have fun last year?
Oh, I had a lot of fun, man. It didn't seem like I had no downs last year. Although I was sidelined for 4 to 5 months, it didn't seem that way.
Wow. Wow, man. Last year, I mean, first of all, 2022, you had the injury at Prescott Isles, right?
Yeah, broke the collarbone in 3 places, 2 plates, 7 screws. You know,
And then you healed, and then you got going. You got ready for some more races, and you took off down to Arkansas, Oakland. Then you ran into another injury. Um, you want to recap that and see like how difficult that was, or do you even remember that?
yeah. Honestly, I remembered it because after getting hurt in Prescott, um, I just it looked like I was gonna be out for a minute, and I guess it was getting myself mentally ready for Oakland. 'Cause I know shortly after Oakland, we would have had Barbados, so I had to get myself ready for Oakland first, then Barbados, and but I had to get back my feet wet, in the groove, winning races again. 'Cause I missed half that year, and so coming into Oakland, it was kind of not scary, but still scary because it's where the best riders ride in the winter, the best horses run, some of the best trainers. So it's tough. But I got rolling, and the minute I got rolling, bang, I was down again 2 months after I got back in the saddle. And I've been hurt before, but I've never been hurt 2 consecutive times back to back like that.
Hmm.
And I didn't know what to think at first. Like it was just a normal Saturday, you know, talking to the guys in the room, you know, talk to my valet before I went out, and boom, you know, reality hit in, you know, horses on top of me trashing. The guys are trying their best to get me out. They missed the first time. The second time they were successful. And I mean, it was a long ride to the hospital that day, you know. It was a lot of questions. I mean, we skipped Barbados because that was the good time. That was a good time. It was like a week after I got back from Barbados, and like I said, I haven't really been riding 2 months fully yet, and bang. And you know what?
Wow.
That third injury. It really gave me a different perspective. That stuff happens so quickly, and when the unexpected happens, when it's less expected. You know, and being a horse I rode before, he was a second time starter. I gate schooled him like 12 times, you know, and so it was really sudden. So it's not like he was a fresh horse or new horse that I never seen or I never sit on. And but that's out the way. I got over that. The trainer came and see me every day in the hospital, along with a lot of my and jockey friends, Ricardo Santana, Nick Juarez, Francis Garrieta, a lot of guys, Christian Torres, all the guys, Martin Garcia. They came and see me in the hospital, man, and a lot of fans too. My agent was there every day, Gene Short, and the trainer of the horse, Rick. I actually rode a horse for him this week. At like 22-1, and she ran third in a maiden special weight race. And at one point in time, she looked like she was going to win at the head of the lane, and she haven't run since last April. She got tired, so I told that trainer, man, my goal is to win a race for you. You know, right now he's really sick, so I want to give him a shout out, man. He just got out of the hospital for ICU from having
Hmm.
pneumonia,
Oh
and
man.
you know, and he has to be confirmed right now. I would like to go see him, but he's a good guy, man. He was there every day for me, man.
Wow, man. You know, it's these connections, these relationships in horse racing that keeps the jockeys, you know, in line, you know, keep you in business. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Um, and just hearing that kind of stuff from you to know that you understand that part of the business as well, not only jumping on a horse and riding it, but understanding the, you know, the emotions that goes with illness and stuff like that. You know.
yeah. And that's not even half of it, man. Like the rehab part, you know.
Mm.
Um, the first 3 days I didn't walk. I couldn't walk for the first 3 days, and that wasn't even the scary part. You know, the scary part was like I'm hurt again. You know, what the doctor told me, once the swelling goes down from around my pelvis, I'll walk. You know, and then the second day it really kicked in, that he told me yesterday I can't walk. You know,
Wow.
and the therapy, the like the doctor, he was really good, Dr. Dodds. You know, he told me straight off the back, we can't do surgery. It's broken in too many places, and a couple of places are really broken up fine. He's like, the best way is to let it heal on its own. And the first thing that comes to my mind, how such a bad injury could heal on its own. And he's like, just trust me, it's going to heal on its own. And from
Mm.
then, he mapped out a plan. He told me, I think it was August, I could be wrong, August or July, he told me that I'll make a comeback. And we didn't talk about when to get on horses yet. You guys told me probably July or August. And at that time, it was March 25th. March 26th was the second day. And he got me to go to one of his therapy places, therapy hospitals. But he works at 5 different hospitals here in Arkansas.
You're good. You muted, but you're good. Yeah, something happened on your end, but you're good. I can see you, just can't hear you. So I can remove you, and then you come right back in again. Hey, Rock. Yeah, I'll remove Rock and let him come right back in, and then we get going again because I know he's busy. You know, juggling a few things behind the scenes, and people can't really see that, but I know he's doing that. Give me a thumbs up, Rock, if you can hear me and you're ready to go. Just let me know, and we'll bring you right back in, and we'll get going, man. What a trooper, man! Just coming straight from the track, just speaking to him, picking up food. You know, one busy guy. When you're ready, just give me a thumbs up, buddy, and we're gonna rock and roll. Yeah, man. Rocco, what a year it was last year, man. You know, me going down there to Ohio, meeting him, and seeing how he operates, man. You got, I mean, if people don't understand what some of these jockeys do and what they go through just to get the rides, and how they conduct their business. You need to take a trip or just kind of shadow these guys around for one day and see. It's quite an operation just to see how these things, how these guys operate, how they maneuver, you know, conduct themselves, dealing with trainers, business, everything else. Time management is a whole big operation. So I mean, I was privileged enough to get to see that, and Rock was kind enough to bring me around and show me how things are going. Hey, good night, happy New Year to everyone. Really glad that you guys are here just to bring Rocco along and share your opinions and ideas and thoughts and questions as well. Rock, you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, buddy, let's go. Bring back again. Let's go. Reveal and come again.
Yeah, we'll come again. I don't know what happened there. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. It's technology, man. That's how
Yeah,
we do it, you know.
yeah, man. You know it. Yeah, man. But we back and rolling. So yeah, the Dr. Dodds, you know, so I started going to his rehab therapy place on Higdon Ferry. It's like 5 minutes from my house where I stay in Arkansas. And I mean, that was my excitement to go to therapy. I mean, he jumped right on it, man. I think the first therapy session I had, it was guess like evaluation. The second one was a full hour session. And usually when I've been hurting before, the insurance don't let you go to like 2 or 3 times or something how that goes. But this guy, he had me going 3 to 4 times a week, man. He was really proactive on it, man. And I mean, he meant business. And the staff that worked with him, the nurses that were in the hospital, because all these hospitals are connected together. I mean, the whole team. I mean, they cut my time that I was going to be out in half to get back. You know, I mean, the nurses sent me a card from the hospital like a week after I got home. I was in there for 6 days, and I mean, it was touching, man. It was, it made me fight harder to get back because there were people that didn't know me but was pushing me so hard to get back where I left off.
Hey, you know what, Rocco? There's something about you that make people draw to you. You know, I'll tell you something. In life, there are people who attract and there are people who repel. You one of the people who attract people to you, man. It's not there's people out there like that, but you know, we identify the ones that are and aren't. You one of those ones, man. So that's what happened. You know, the people at the hospital, the nurses and doctors. That's exactly what happened. You know, they picked up on your energy, and that's exactly what happened. That's what brought you back so early. Because remember, we talked over the phone many times, and I know you wanted to come back so quickly and so bad, but I
Yeah.
was looking scared to say if you come back early enough
Yeah,
and
you
get
you were
yourself
talking me
hurt, you
up for
know.
a couple times too, you talking me up a couple of times. You keep asking me, Rock, you sure, man? And I mean, I was just getting anxious, man. And I knew as I start stepping up physical therapy, and I was going to get that way. I'm finding they had something called MIMS that they were putting back on my pelvis and everything, and getting my leg to stretch again. And once the really shock things that they were doing to my leg, it started to feel back the nerves again. I mean, I was like, I knew the body was going to tell me like, yeah, it's time for us to like start stepping up. And I was just getting anxious. And but when I was in Arkansas, the horses was gone. So I stayed like 2 months after the meet. So I didn't have no horses to go to. So I wasn't like, you know, pushing it that kind of way. So I guess stayed here and rehabbed and enjoyed the summer. 'Cause the summer comes in Arkansas like the last week, 2 weeks of the meet, So it all worked out, It's ironic
Now
how
you
it
know. Well, I was gonna say, like in a case like with yours, when you get injured, and you can't do much, do you ever find yourself just going to the barns and just kind of maybe look at the horses, maybe talk to them or something?
Oh yeah, when I got the collarbone broken, that was what I was doing. Cause the track was only like 5 minutes away, and the races were still going on. But the horses were
Wow.
gone. All the horses went to Churchill and other tracks, and so it was just the empty barn area. But that's a strong point in therapy too. When you hurt, go talk to the horses. That's like the best medicine.
Wow. Well, you know, it's good for your mental health. You
True.
know, just sitting there at home could be very stressed. You know, just being at home.
Oh, it's testing. It's testing, man. You know.
Now we're gonna get into a lot of stuff. I want to talk to you about many things. I hope you got the time.
Oh
If
yeah,
we're
I do.
going too long, you let me know.
Yeah, I do got the time.
So in the case for Caden, he might have to just relax, and we'll bring him on at the
Yeah.
end. But first of all, I want to just have a good conversation with your dad, Caden, if you're listening.
No,
You
he
know,
listening.
so
He just messaged Happy New Year.
okay, Happy New Year, my brother. You hang in there, man. Your dad got a lot of patience, so I'm pretty sure you do too. Hey, Rock, listen, I got something here I want to put. Just want to introduce to the audience. Just a little recap from 2023, from with your little journey up until the end of the year. Okay,
Oh, for
so
sure, man.
we'll put it on and get going. All right, so let's
Yep.
do this.
big VNW.
Oh shit. What up with the P-Dub?
What up with the P-Dub?
What's up, guy?
What's up, bro?
Not much. How you
Everything
doing?
good?
Everything is good.
You know.
Got the man here.
Yes,
my
sir.
man Rock. Greetings.
Greetings.
Blessings, my
Good
friend.
to see you, brother.
Yes.
Much respect. Got to see
So-
boys land, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
This is my guy, Jason. Rocco Bowen, man.
What's up, sir? Nice to meet you, my brother. Much love, man.
So this was the best of Ohio Day down at Thistledown Racetrack. So we left Toronto and we decided, you know what, we're gonna go capture Rocco Bowen for the day and see how he operate down in Thistledown. And it was a big day. You know, it was the best of Ohio Day, but it was the worst weather we've seen in a long time. And in racing, things don't always work the way you want it to work. But in true Rocco style, he kept his true professionalism and kept things up. He didn't win a race on this day, but he was really good at just managing how he operated. That's a true man, a true professional jockey. Give that a good shot, bro.
Yeah. That's one of those things, man.
I know.
You know,
So what you do right now? You just gonna
regroup, get on the plane, and tomorrow's another day, you know? Today's behind me right now, you know?
And that he did. Jumped on the plane and flew down to Emerald Downs and rode some races down there.
3 lengths of these leaders as they corner Kawakatus. Richie's in the house. Commander Tom from Halley's Hero and just waiting for a run. Call My Banker down the stretch. Richie's in the house in front of Halley's Hero and trying to find some room as Call My Banker down the outside. But meantime, Halley's Hero got the break and dashed away from Richie's in the house and Call My Banker. And it is Halley's Hero who's going to win again. Halley's Hero scoring a number of wins in a career that's been impeccable by about 3 lengths. Call My Banker second, third Richie's in the house, and then Kawakatus, and the time is 1:09:30.
And then a funny thing happened. Rocco got a call from trainer testing holder, and lo and behold, jockey Rico Walker got injured, and testing holder say, "Hey, look, Rocco, do you want to ride my horse in the big race, the Breeder Stakes race at Woodbine Racetrack?" And Rocco, in true Rocco fashion, he just hopped in his car, and before you know it, he was in Canada. Man, that is a jockey who's aiming to win and wants to win races. Nothing was going to stop him, but you know what? He did it all. He did his best. Came to Toronto, came to Woodbine Racetrack, and before you know it, things were looking good, but you know, the race didn't go the way he wanted to go, and that's what happened, you know.
Everybody talk about it?
Thank you so much.
This way, Rock.
Yeah.
What's going on? I didn't see you. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna.
So these things do happen and dreams do come true. Rocco Bowen, he moved his tack to Oaklawn for the winter meet. And lo and behold, man, on the very first race of the first day, he won. And that was a beautiful thing.
seeing from all the events that happened throughout the year, injuries and all, and just continue to strive. And you know what a year it has been for Rocco Bowen, man. That's how it is.
You gotta stay on the grind, man. If you want it bad enough, you gotta stay on the grind.
Rock,
Yo,
what
that
a year, man.
yeah, man, that's pretty cold, man. That's love, man. That's
Hey, you
love,
know how it is.
man.
We try my best, and we try. My little team. We try to put things together, just to put a little spotlight on the jockeys. The people. You're working hard. We know you're striving. But, sometimes as much you work, and the harder you work, it seems like the harder you work.
Yeah,
And sometimes you just need a helping hand here and there. You need someone just to lean over and say, hey, look, man, I got you.
a little nudge too. Like you keep nudging me all year that to come to Woodbine. Like you know a secret. I'll never forget that, man. He asked me questions about this and that, and I was like, man. So then I finally gets told you, man. I'm trying to focus on Ohio and be leader rider there. And then boom, one Thursday out of the blue, I'm talking to Darwin, and he told me you should answer that call. That's the call you've been waiting on every long time now. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, yeah, you should answer that call. Just call me back. And it was testing holder. So I called him back. He's like, he didn't. I don't think he asked me where I'm riding. 'Cause I think he already knew I wasn't riding. He's like, well, you let her come to Woodbine on Sunday. And I was like, yeah. I, I knew it wasn't a joke, but I was like, nah, this, like, he's like, yeah, Rico gets got hurt. And I was like, no way. And he's like, yeah. So I instantly messaged Rico as I got off the phone, but, he didn't reply to the next day, you know, and Tedston and his owners and Woodbine Racetrack, I mean, they got my paperwork pushed through at the border like no tomorrow, man. They just asked me whose car, and told them it's a rental car. They're like, why do you rent a car? I said, because I needed a big, comfortable car. Because when you're going on those long road trips, you need like something comfortable. And I rented a soccer mom van. I mean, you put those things on cruise control and you just drive. Put my movie up in the dashboard, I guess, watching. I drove, and that was it, man. And they seen the system that Woodbine got me the work permit and everything, and they flagged me through. And I was in USA, and then next thing I was in Canada. And then it was only like an hour to the race, to Woodbine. And then the next day I was back in USA again. So I had to ride it at Thistle on Monday,
I gotta ask you about that, man, because that was your first time at Woodbine, right?
Very first time. I never even
And
been here. I guess I went to the airport when I used to ride in Canada to get my visa done in Pearson's airport, and that was it. Then catch my connecting flight and go to either Winnipeg or Hastings. And so I never been to Woodbine. I've been to Toronto because you always have to come through Toronto.
yeah, so I mean, quite honestly, you've been around for so many years, and your very first time riding at Woodbine, and I just got to ask you about your experience in terms of you rode one race. What was going through your mind before the race and during the race and after the race?
Honestly, it was a phenomenal experience. I got the butterflies right before I went out. Um, I mean, I got a rush of butterflies. I messaged my mom. I was like, Mom, I mean, the butterflies. I feel like they're jumping on my skin. She's like, Son, you've been here before, just not Woodbine. And I was like, Nah, Mom, this is different, man. And it feels different. That's how you know it's different when it feels different, man. And it's hard to explain because you got to be in the shoes to feel it, man. I mean, the goosebumps were crawling my skin different, and I mean, I knew it was my time to shine. It could be now or never. And the horse looked well. I seen the horse the morning of. The horse looked well. I mean, all the stars were aligned. He was 8-1 morning line. in a $500,000 race. And I mean, I was like, this may be the moment. And I mean, he broke good. I got him into the race, and we got a perfect trip. But he campaigned really hard that year, and I mean, he showed up at every dogfight, man. He showed up. He was there. He only had one bad race, so I mean, I wouldn't say the race when I rode him he bounced. He was just a little tired. And if the opportunity comes up this year for me to ride him again, or to come there and ride other horses, or ride for Tedston, or I'm gonna grab it, because only a skip up the road, like Darwin says, is 4 hours. You know,
That's
I was
right.
going,
That's
I was
right.
going to Emerald. That was 4 hours plane ride. Versus 4 hours driving. That's nothing. I guess
Uh,
jumping.
whose idea was that for you to make that trip back and forth from Emerald to
That was
Thistledown?
Darwin, man. He was like, Jock, if we're gonna get fit, are we gonna get fit fast? He's like, I never tell you to do nothing that's not doable, or to make like we're catching that stuff. And he run it by me a couple times, and he's like, Jock, we gotta get serious. We gotta know if we're gonna do this and get fit fast, or we're gonna really gotta get the fitness back real quick, because you been had two back-to-back injuries. And he really didn't want people to write me off, or the first thing to say, oh, he's scared, he's not riding the same, because they say that very quickly when you get hurt. So he was just eliminating all the cons, and to have so I could get back smoothly. And the first week I done it, it was like a test trial. The tiredness didn't really hit me to the Monday, and I said, man, I guess gotta cut out some things, and you know be in the gym harder. Till once I started riding 7 days, then I didn't have to be in the gym at all, because I was riding every day. You know, And at one point in time, I was trying to go for something that nobody ever done. When at three different tracks in two different parts of the USA in less than 24 hours.
That's something really big. That's a giant stat, man. But I know you
Yeah,
tried. I knew you were trying because you were telling me. But
I was trying, man. I rode um, at Prescott and Tissot on the Monday, and I rode at Emerald the Sunday. I won a race at Emerald the Sunday. I won a race the Monday at Tissot. And I on the way up to Prescott, I'm like, man, I'm getting the goosebumps, but not like the ones I was getting in Woodbine. I could do something really special now. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. The horse run fourth, but it was a little thrill for a minute when the horse started made a good move, man. To win three races in three different jurisdictions.
wow,
You know,
I didn't really check on that, and that's quite interesting. That really is interesting and intriguing for me because I didn't. I knew Woodbine was it was a big race first of all, but I didn't realize everything in effect that came with Woodbine for you, and for a jockey like yourself who won titles at different tracks and so forth, you don't get the great calls in the huger tracks that in the states, but
no,
you're definitely an accomplished jockey, and Woodbine was kind of butterflyish for you.
it was, man. And I mean, the respect and the love that the Woodbine Entertainment Racetrack give me to how me got there so fast, and the test the holders clients, you know, and it was unbelievable. You know, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, Ted is a good guy. No matter what people would say, Ted is a good guy. He Ted goes out his way for many people. I mean, for me, all I had to do was just raise my hand, and there were not only Ted, but there's quite a few people who were there saying, "Hey, look, Derek, I got you. Gonna help you." Somebody on Facebook said Ted is not a good guy. I'm not gonna argue with them because I don't know what happened.
Yeah, everybody got different opinions about people, but I'm he has to be somewhat of a good guy, because he picked the phone up the Thursday. By the Friday, I had my paperwork. Me and my agent was actually at Prescott in the golf cart. We were there breezing horses, and he helped me fill the paperwork out. He called me the Thursday, like 5 o'clock. By the Friday, before 8 o'clock that morning. I had my paperwork. I had everything that I guess need to do. It was simple. Usually immigration paperwork is not simple. And we just went through it. We paid $150, I think, was the license. Boom, it went approved. And my agent told me, have fun. I remember I drove from Prescott that day straight up to Woodbine. I was already like 45 minutes closer, and I guess continuing and went on up. I already had my suitcase packed and everything, and they made it simple for me, you know.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. I'm really pretty sure that Woodbine Woodbine Entertainment probably will be very happy to hear that those comments from jockeys, especially from different jockeys as well in the U.S. and so forth. I mean, it is quite common that jockeys come to Woodbine back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
Um, you know, for you, this was your first experience, and I'm glad it worked out well for you.
hmm And I mean, even the storage, they called me to sat me down. Cause the Woodbine is different, they got the underhand whip. Here in the USA, we can roll the stick
Oh,
over.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And they were really nice. They were like, they were telling me, if you uncock your stick, you can uncock it, but if you hit it, 20% of the purse of your wages are gone. Guess not me, but anyone that does it. And they were very polite about it, and they made sure thoroughly that I understand. And then when I was down in the auction, one of the stores came and checked on me, and he's like, you could try on an exerciser, and he's like, guess don't think about it. And anyway, they helped me, to so I didn't, get in trouble by rolling over the stick, because like I said yesterday, I rode in America, which we ride a different way. In Canada, you could only backhand, but you could hit more than 6 times. So, it was a very smooth trip, man, for such a
Now,
big race.
did you remember those those words while you were riding the race? Uh, the rules about the stick and everything.
Oh man, I thought about it. I looked at it before I pushed it up to switch my stick, because I really had to get into the horse left hand to switch these, because he struggled the last time, and that was my big thing, to get him switched cleanly. And once I got him switched cleanly, I forgot about the stick thing. I was like, that was my big thing, to get him to jump over to that right lead down the stretch. And but yeah, I had to thought about it a little bit when I pulled it through underhand, and to hit underhand. That was the tough part, pulling it through underhand. But the backhand, it wasn't that tough. But just to think about pulling it through underhand instead of overhand, I really had, it took me a stride or two. I will not lie. Usually when I switch my stick from my left to my right, it don't take me a half a stride.
Wow. Now, is Woodbine the only track that you can think of that does that, or are there other tracks that are doing that as well?
They used to do it in California, and then they changed it back at the beginning of last year.
I wonder why.
I don't know why. I never looked into it, but Woodbine is the only track now I think does it. And they don't have the 6 whip rule like America does,
Yeah,
because
no, I was just saying. I wonder your thoughts on that, because I remember I was reading something, and they said that there's some studies that saying that even whipping a horse doesn't even do much to the horse. That's what they're saying. But from a jockey's point of view, do you see any difference?
man, there's no difference. And these people that do these studies, I guarantee you they were never jockeys. So I don't know how they could do these studies and they never rode a horse and never hit a horse in the race. So they got to
Hmm.
be some really good scientists that they could sit down and do these studies and figure out all these magnificent things that they're coming up with in the last couple of years about the whipping and the striking and this and that, you know. But my firm believer, you got to be in the driver's seat or the passenger seat, or actually rode a horse in a race and hit a horse to have these great ideas about it.
Wow, man, because people, you see a lot of studies, and everybody wants to change the game, and everybody wants to add their own point of views. And I just wonder from jockey's point of view, about that, and if the horse actually improves with a whip here and there, or it doesn't make a difference, just pushing the horse if that's enough.
There's some horses that can be hit. Like there's this great feeling working in Arkansas. She can't even carry a stick with her. And, those things are understandable, but I don't understand the 6 whip rule. You ran 5.5 furlongs, 6 furlongs, a mile and a quarter. I rode a mile and a quarter race in Mahoning like 2 months ago with my good horse, fair and square. You got the same 6 whips going a mile and a quarter, which is a Kentucky Derby distance, and 5.5. Who came up with that rocket science idea? You know, that's the question there. When you lay out rules are for different things and they're different distances. You understand me?
I
So,
follow you.
and then to change the whips that you could ride with at least 4 times since they came up with these rules. It was the 360. It was the Pro Cush. Then it was the 360. Then they outlawed the Pro Cush. Now they're back to the Pro Cush again. And this is 3 years back when races was in the 80s and the 60s. Jockeys had a one whip for so many years. You know,
Well, I mean, they say the game is always changing. There's always room for improvement.
that's a fact.
People make lots of arguments.
Yep.
Now, we're going to talk about. I was going to talk about the poly track, the synthetic track, and so forth. But I think I'm gonna leave that alone, and we'll jump right back to that again. But I know you really wanted to ride at Kentucky, like Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby potentially at some point. And I know that you were searching for a 2-year-old last year before you got hurt. Going a 2-year-old going into three from 22 to 23, 2022, 2023, and that didn't work out because of the injury. Um, Prescott Owl, what made you change and went to Thistledown?
I had no business. I had zero business. It was almost 2 months into the meet, and I only won 2 races. Um, I had to make a change and really quickly. I was doing the same amount of work I was doing in Tissot. I was doing in Prescott, and for some reason, I wasn't getting a shot. You know, I don't know if it's because the year before I was third in the standings before I went down, and they figured out I could have ride, and I guess got shut down. But it still left the unknown, and I would still like to prove myself in Prescott that I fit there. But I think I found a new place called Tissot that something greater will have to happen for me to leave pass that up. They have good purses there, and I ride for two of the strongest outfits there. I ride for a lot of other people. I ride for a lot of my island friends there. So, you know, I think I'm just going to stick with that and, to try to build more business and find that horse yet again. But when you were saying 2-year-olds, uh, 2-year-olds I get really lucky with. There are a couple of times I got lucky with a couple of 2-year-olds, but I never was able to retain them out. And they went to bigger races. And I love to get on 2-year-olds. A lot of riders don't like to mess with 2-year-olds. I like to get on 2-year-olds. And they're fun to start breezing the first quarter of a mile, then stepping up as they go further, and to see them develop, and then to see them get their picture taken. You know that keeps you coming back. And you know when you get a good one on your hand, a good 2-year-old stands out from the rest. I mean, the numbers, they're night and day. And that's when you got a good one, especially if he runs 88, 89, 90, birds net speed rating. He's a serious 2-year-old. And
Yeah.
a lot of people could say it was trap basis, but you got to take 5 points off of that to go to like 85 or 84 to say track basis. But we run those kind of numbers. A smart handicapper told me one time that's a serious 2-year-old, and it's proven. Look at any of the good 2-year-olds when they break the maidens in Kentucky, California. They run close to 90 bird numbers, 89, 88. And then you see them go on to the next start to probably run 100,
Yep.
103.
Now, I wanted to ask you. I want to go back a little bit because I'm going to ask you about the 2-year-olds and like jockeys like yourself. Now, you said they're fun and you love riding 2-year-olds. I guess there's opportunity as well there involved, but do you guys take that chance knowing that the result with riding these 2-year-olds that sometimes you may not retain the mount again? Does that cross your mind quite a bit? Because sometimes you can jump on top of a gem, sometimes you jump on top of a dud, but you just take that chance. Is that something that goes through your mind?
Well, it used to. I used to. It still does, but I still put myself up for the task. But you just try to keep it on the down low. If the horse is working on that other horse, you try to hide him. You don't try to outwork the other horse. You never once try, because smart jockeys know good horses. So you just try
Mhm.
to hide him. Sometimes you can't hide him. He gets that much better, you know. But now I guess try to hide him, you know, so you don't lose them. And when you cut them loose the first star, that's when I start to get nervous, because if they win like a good thing, say Joe Rosario's agent call, for sure I'm gone. You know, it gets black and white. You know, he's gonna get a call.
You gotta explain that when you say it's just black and white. For dumb people like me, I might be thinking something else. So you gotta explain a black and white thing, man.
Well, if say you're the owner of the 2-year-old that gets broke the maiden, and you run a 90 bracelet number, and you have Joe Rosario agent call you, we're friends, but in the end of the day, it's a business, you know, and you know you're gonna got to go with Joe Rosario. He's the hot hand. The guy could go to any place in the world and wins races. He already does, you know. So that's something you get as you get older. Before, in the younger days, I didn't understand it. It used to make me angry. But now it makes me feel like I'm doing something good. If, you know, another one of those
I don't know what happened to Rocco there, but we're just gonna wait and see if he comes back on. Maybe his phone went dead. That happens quite a bit. Sometimes people forget to charge their phones, and before you know it, their phone can go dead. So I'll just wait and see what happened to him and put him back on. In the meantime, I'll just read some of these comments here that people are saying, and it seems like quite a few people have already voiced their opinions about many things. I'm glad someone here said they want to see Rocco back in Barbados riding jocular, and I guess we'll hear a little bit more about jocular from Darwin Clark and maybe Charles Williams or somebody who's surrounded that horse. Good night, Leroy Trotman, the real deal. And some people are saying the jockeys got to go where they're wanted the most, and where they can get more rides, and that makes a lot of sense. Rocco, when you back, you give me a thumbs up and we're good to go. All right, my brother. All right. All right. Yeah, so I'll let you continue. I don't know if you remember where you left off, but you can
yeah.
go
So
on.
it's Joe Rosario agent pick up the phone and call. You got to see your source, and at that point in time, you're like thinking like, man, if this guy pick a call, he has 3 out of 4 horses he could ride in that same race. That's just the business those guys have, you know, and it's something that you gotta grow. And I don't like when people call me a veteran, because it makes you feel old, but it you know,
Well, it's just years. It's not necessarily an old
it,
man, but it's
it,
just years in the game.
it's so that's what I mean by black and white. It's ruthless, but it's business at the end of the day. You want the best pilot on your horse, you know. And then there's some people like Darwin that will stick with me. Frankie Dettori's agent could call, and he'll go with me. So that's why I draw that point and say, I would never say that you would do that to me, but I'm just showing the people the black and white. You know, some people will go with you, and then some people will go with the bigger rider, the bigger name. You know,
Oh, I want to ask you too, because Rocco, like, you may go to Barbados and you may be a big name, right? But what makes and what separates? I know what separates the jockeys, because obviously we see the stats, the amount of money that they make for the trainers and owners. But um, what about what puts you in the winners circle in Arkansas? right? And the Gulfstream and these kind of places. Wouldn't you need the opportunity as well, a little bit of trust from the trainers as well to
Yeah,
give you that chance?
absolutely. And a good agent.
Agent. I keep forgetting about the agent. Uh, I keep forgetting about that part. That and the agent plays a tremendous role in your business.
A huge role. A sharp agent, a hungry agent, an agent that sees a horse that his jock can move up. Even if the jock don't see it. Because a lot of times my agents would see horse that can move up. And I would like not get mad, but like, and you guys are asking me to do the impossible now. They're like, no, Rock, I'm telling you, we ride this horse. You will move this horse up. And knock on wood, they're usually right more than I'm right. But I need that to happen, because I pay my agent to be right. So if I'm wrong, that's okay. Guess not if I'm wrong in the race. So if I'm wrong and he's telling me I should ride this horse, that's a good thing. And but a lot of times they see those kind of horses. I'll see a horse maybe 5, 6 nights that move up. I got an agent now. My agent I had an Emerald. My agent got in Tissot. Miss Penny Fitzhayes. Um, she could have seen when a horse needs to be hit left-handed. She would go beg for me to put the kid on it. She would like, I'm telling you, this horse needs a strong left hand. And how much times I seen her was correct that the horse needed a strong left hand to respond it, and we got the W. My agent in Tissot, I remember he spotted this one gray horse. I think the trainer will have won 2 races on me. I run like 60 horses. I get aboard the horse, it's 1-9. And I'm like, these people are crazy, man. The horse run his last 2 starts. He was 30-1 and 15-1. The horse won by 8 lengths.
Are those gunshots?
Oh no, those are fireworks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are
I'm just
fireworks.
concerned for your safety, my brother.
Oh damn, my brother. I'm home. I live in a really good neighborhood. They were going off our last night. I slept through them. They're fireworks. But
All
they're very
right, my man.
respectable about them here, though. They like last night they went on to like maybe midnight, but they didn't go on all morning at 5 a.m. when I woke up, and when I left at like 6:30, they were not going on. So they're very respectful about them here. And I'm a guy I really don't like fireworks. I don't really dig them.
Why not?
Well, a couple of years ago, man, we had a dog that we lost to fireworks, and it was like 2 months after. So I just had a bad taste after that, for fireworks, like a very bad taste. Like my kids play with them, but I guess tell them daddy's not gonna participate.
Yeah. I used to like them back in the days, but fireworks not my thing right now also. So I feel you. I feel
Yeah.
you. Yeah, so let's talk some more about these opportunities. I know you had a shot down at Gulfstream the other day too as well. Some maybe a couple months ago.
No, I
Uh,
guess 4 weeks ago. It seemed like a couple
yeah,
months ago because the year changed again. It's messing with us, man. You know,
you had a shot at Gulfstream last year. Let's put it like that.
yeah. Look at this. Last year, Mr. Safi Joseph, man, he gave me a phone call on the day before Thanksgiving, and what are you doing December 2nd? I was like, nothing. He's like, well, I need to come to Gulfstream. All right, one for me. I was like, okay, for sure. I marked that down. When entries came out, I'm on 3 horses. I was like, man, this can't be real. It was Woodbine, then it was Gulfstream, man. I was like, then the buzz got buzzing here in Arkansas that I wasn't coming. I was gonna stay in Gulfstream. I was like, how did that get out? I was like, it was like, I was just taking an opportunity. I was supposed to
Do
be
you,
here breathing the horses, but Miss Pennyface Sage always told me, Rock, we fly, we go ride horses versus breezing. And that always stuck with me. You know, People want to see you flying or going places on a ride. It encourages trainers to ride you more because they have more trust in you. That, well, if this person could send him to ride, I could give him a mount. And I wasn't worried about business starting out slow because I know what I was doing. I was coming in later than I ever came into Arkansas, but it didn't seem like it hindered my business. I rode, I think, 9 opening weekend when my mom was here. I never ride 9 horses in Arkansas till the last month, you know, and I rode 15 this week, so that was 14 horses in the open in 2 weeks, and it's never happens for me that way. And I won 2 races. I never win my first race in Arkansas to the next year. Arkansas always starts in December, and I always win my first race in like January, like the middle of January, anywhere around there. So like, I think we're ahead schedule, but you don't want to say that and get lackadaisical. You want to
Mhm.
keep pushing, but on paperwork we're ahead schedule.
Well, you wouldn't want to get overconfident. Also, I mean, in the last few days that you've ridden, you've been trying, but things are not going the way you really would want it to go. I can see that your business, you're getting business, but you're not getting the best of the best. Uh, how does that affect you? How do you respond to that when you're seeing that your horse that you're about to ride is 20, 30? You rode a horse at 99 to 1 today. Does that
Yeah.
affect you mentally? How do you approach that?
Now, I once I do my homework and I go over, my numbers. Last couple of days, I know when the horses are being riding, the numbers not being matching up. But then there's reasons behind it. Arkansas, it's like a Carl salesman place. I mean, for instance, it's like fish coming to Barbados in the market. Fresh fish sells every day. When you put a horse in the claiming box here, it shuffles and goes to another trainer every day. It never fails. If you drop a horse from 30 to 10, guarantee you're gonna have 4 or 5 claim slips enough for your horse. It gets reshuffled. It's a busy horse selling market here, you know. And so right now, a lot of horse I'm riding, the trainers are protecting them, you know. But in an outturn too, they'll be coming down the class where they belong, and I'll be rolling. It gets patience, and then that's where the scary part comes in because when they drop, they're gonna be gone. So the pressure is on to get the job done. You know,
I can say that Arkansas is a tough place
it is.
to win races, especially if you don't have the outfit that
It-
matches up to the more popular guys. The Brad
yeah,
Coxes and Steve Asmussen. Those guys do pretty well down there. Um, that's a really tough place to be. And then you got to go up against your buddy Ricardo Santana and get some good business down there as well. When you're sitting there, I mean, I met Ricardo the other day, thanks to you. When you're sitting, you're watching these guys. I just concerned about your mental health here, Rocco.
Oh,
These guys
man. One
are
thing about
winning.
us, it's all love for us, man. It's all love, man. I like to see my boys win, and they like to see me win. So it's all love. I guess how to better Rocco to get where they're at, get liver mounts like them. That's how I think. You know, they watch what they do, and to see. 'Cause it wasn't easy for them to get that position either. So, and Ricardo to be hard on me when I moved too soon in the race, and he's a younger rider, and I take pointers from him. I mean, these guys are in this position not because they're hand fed mounts. They work to get them, and he won 8 riding titles here in Arkansas, 8 back to back.
Wow, man,
You know,
that's
but he has,
tremendous.
tremendous. And I mean, you see, he rides a lot of the best horses for Asmussen. He rode a horse yesterday for Skelly coming off the layoff. I mean, this horse will break the 6 furlong track record here this year. There's no doubt he will. This horse is a real serious horse. I remember before he rode him the first time, it was like 10:30. It was after the second break. And he yelled at me. He's like, Rock, get out of the way. The horse bolted to the outside fence because he's so fast. He couldn't make the turn at the 3 his pole. You know, and yeah, he's a serious racehorse. And the first time, he run, he got in trouble, and then the second time he just eared. He won like by 10. And ever since then, he was on a winning roll. I think he won the last 4 in a row, and he ran 109 and change yesterday coming off the layoff.
Oh man,
You know,
that's
ask
that's
me,
that's
Steve. He noticed when I went down to Mahoney Valley, I won a steak the other day. The next day, I came back into town. He told me, "Congratulations, Rocco." It blew me on
man.
it blew my mind away. My agent was right there. He was like, "I didn't, he first came my agent said, I didn't think he would watch Mahoney if he don't have a horse running there. God, this take before the month before when I went down, he had a horse running. His son Keith came down and rode it. I won the stake, the spring stake." And so I was like, I guess he watches. That shows you never know who's watching.
That's a sharp trainer too, to know
Yeah,
that, to be watching
sharp
every
trainer.
play.
The most win is the trainer. So if I give the bat a ride that or a ride that he didn't he was pleased with, that could have probably burned a bridge or take his eye off of me here in Arkansas. But it gave me the goosebumps again to know that he actually watched, and he took his time to congratulate me the next day. I mean, just jogging by him saying, "Good morning, Steve," on the horse. He's like, "Congratulations, Rocco, the steak yesterday." And I was like, "Damn."
And congratulations, Rocco, on winning that stake race down Mahoney Valley. That was awesome to see. Well deserved. I'm glad you made that move. You got them out, and you won the race, and that was pretty good too. I'm just extending my
Thank
congratulations
you.
to you.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the first time I sitting on that horse. He's one of the better horses in our barn, and I breezed him a lot. And I choose to ride another horse, me and my agent, like 3 hours back, and we lost him. The rider won, and our horse ran like sixth or seventh. And so we finally got him back, and it was pretty exciting because he's working up a storm. I mean, the assistant was texting me, my agent was texting me. He was like, "Shadow, you worked lights out today." I was like, just keep his 4 legs on the ground because he's a horse. It's hard to keep his 4 legs on a horse. He's like an angry bird. He's always happy. And he's real fast and athletic, and he's a little shit and he knows it. And, you know, we're gonna have a lot of fun this year with him at 3 in Tissot. A lot of fun.
I want to ask you, because you're talking about Asmussen, you're talking about the trainers, right? The sharp trainers, and you never know who's watching and so forth. Now, when you ride those stake races and good races, do trainers give you instructions?
Yeah, Asmussen, he's a very detailed guy. He's a very sharp guy. You know, he likes everything to point, and he's very knowledgeable. He's the most winningest trainer, so I can't even imagine how much racing forms this guy ever read or studied in his life. That's one question I want to ask him one day. 'Cause I'm big on doing homework and handicapping, but I don't want to think I'm crazy. I ask him how much race forms he ever studied because, that's a good, interesting question for a guy like that. How many forms he studied and how many times? I know he don't probably know, but he won over 10,000 races, you
Wow.
know, and he just don't have racing forms for probably Oakland. He has horses at Lone Star, you know, he has horses in Turfway Park. So right off the back, there's 3 forms. He's gonna have to have a day because all 3 of those tracks run the same on the same days. You know,
That, in your world, that's pretty impressive. Impressive. So for a jockey, what's the thing that impresses you the most with trainers?
when a trainer comes to the paddock and he has confidence in his rider, and he don't really give instructions, because he has confidence in his rider that he already done his homework and watched the replays and he's on top of stuff. That gives you a better shot. Not only trust that, you know they give you the keys. They put you in the driver's seat. They're like, "Rocco, guess go drive the Ferrari, the Bugatti today. I know you're gonna bring it back safe. I know you're gonna make the best call." That pumps up a guy, man. It really does. It picks your head up.
Wow. And the other question, I guess the part two to that would be, when they don't give you instructions, do they ever get mad at you if you don't win the race?
Oh yeah, a lot of times. The jockey's like the number one punching bag. The jockey always gets blamed. And that's another thing. You gotta grow with age and be a veteran to learn. It used to bother me really a lot when I was younger. Why they always get pick on the jockey and blame the jockey? The trainer, the punter, everybody blames the jockey. You know? It just comes with age that you learn that you once you're the jockey, you're gonna get blamed. You're gonna be the first person to blame.
I guess it's something that you come to realize it will happen, so you don't really pay a lot of attention to it, I guess.
No, no. And when you're ridden enough too, like 3 months ago in Mahoney, I came back. I know Tim Ham was gonna be mad at me for the ride I give. I was wide on both turns. And I just came back, cause we have a deal. I call him every day before the races. We go over every horse I'm riding. And every night after races, every horse I rode, we report back on it. Win, lose, or draw. And so I came back and I knew I was gonna get you out for that one Pacific ride. And we run 7 that day and we hit the board a couple times, but we didn't win none. And it was just not because we didn't win none, it was because of that one bad ride. I was wide on both turns. And I only got beat like 4 lengths. So that automatically puts me that I should have won by 4. And I had the horse to win. I guess got hung wide on both turns.
I mean, as a jockey who has so much experience, I guess would it be safe to say sometimes you're not always in control?
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting,
But
interesting.
you'd be fooling yourself to tell yourself that you're in control every time.
Hmm. I mean, we see it with the rides. We see horses do a lot of strange things. I mean, I watch racing. Sometimes I see some videos and so forth, and I've seen horses run from the track and go straight into the barn uh,
Hmm.
without finishing the race.
Yeah.
So,
Usually they do that too when the on and off gap is where they're really familiar coming on and off. So especially if it's in the Pacific Park of the race, they're like, oh, it's time to go home. They don't always do that, but you like you say you see that, and they guess high on left or right, whichever the gap is, and out the gap they go.
and I guess there's not much you can do after that.
Oh no, no, that's 1,500 pounds, man. When they hit exit stage left or stage right, it's cancel Christmas. They're gone. You
Wow,
know.
man, quite interesting, man. Um, Somebody was asking about if you will be going to Barbados for the Sandy Lane Gold Cup, and will you be riding down there? Let me just put it up here just to make sure that they're asking the right questions. My question is, are you riding to Sandy Lane Gold Cup in Barbados? And and your answer would be,
Well, if I stay fit, stay sound, stay healthy, that's the plan. But still got a couple months to go, and it's always something in the back of your mind. But if I stay healthy, yeah, I will be there participating.
okay, there you go. Whoever asked the question, there you go. No, no, that's quite interesting because that's going to be warming up pretty soon. It's usually this time of the year when um, the Barbados racing warms up and everyone gets excited. You won the Spa last year, and first time. Do you share the comment on it? Would you like to shed any words on that? And would you like to go back and have a shot at it again?
Oh, for sure. Uh, we want to keep winning that race. We
We
want to keep winning that
we
race.
we as in you and your team, Darwin Clark.
Yeah, our team. Yeah, no, it's getting close, but we our goal is the Gold Cup, but we get started sometime. The spots is not a bad race to win because you have to have a fast horse, and of course, everyone loves fast horses, you know. And to share about last year, I mean, how it came about, the horse going in the spa. Um, I wanted to ride Jacqueline in the Gold Cup, you know, and Darwin wanted me to win the Gold Cup so badly that he's like, Rock, vividly is the horse. But I wanted to ride Jack Cliff, um, to make sure our game plan went to suit, because I would have executed our game plan. And when you're part of the team, you do things to make the whole team win, just not yourself. So that's why I wanted to ride Jackler, and Darwin made a huge decision to say he's gonna split them up. I'm gonna run Jackler in the spot,
Hmm.
and I rode fifth in the Gold Cup. As we would say at home, that's a real big man move, because a lot of people at home they would say, "Well, we could run 1-2 in the Gold Cup. We didn't get the result in the Gold Cup we wanted, but that's all people would think. We could get two chunks in the purse. If you got the horse to win it, you don't need two horses." And we thought we had a horse to win it. It didn't happen, and so that's why I say it was a real big man move, because he separated them, and a lot of people thought we were crazy at the beginning when we put Jacqueline in the spot, you know, and I don't think they think we were crazy no more, because she got the job done. And then when we got the 11 hole, I wanted the 11 hole, you
Well,
know.
that was an interesting race too. Go ahead, continue. Don't let me stop you.
Yeah, my agent at home, Tremaine Hines, which he's now our trainer, I want to say enough respect to my good close friend, man. He's like a brother, man, and he has his trainer's license now, and every all the times I came to Barbados, he always booked me live mounts and got me on live horses. But he know, when I'm riding for Darwin, those are my set mounts. That there's nothing going to change. And why he's like, Rock, I know his exact words. He's like, Rock, I know you like these kind of foolish post position draws. He's like, your horse got what you wanted. I was like, let me guess, the 11 hole. He's like, yeah. I didn't even watch the draw. He told me, he's like, Rock, you got that foolish draw you wanted, man. He's like, I said, where's Dominus? He's like, inside of you. I said, okay, okay. He's like, you don't want to know who's outside? I said, no, I don't want to know who's outside. I got 11 home.
That's right.
You know, Going a speed race like that, you gotta break sharp if you're from six to the one. If you don't break sharp, the outside speed is gonna come down, it's gonna kill you in there. So even if I broke a step slow, I already had plan B, which I didn't broke a step slow. But when Dominus broke, I outbroked him. And I knew he was fast, but I didn't think he was that fast, because I thought once I got first jump on him, I had him. But I had to go to plan B real quick. Tutus, he was two in front of me. I was like, this horse is legit fast. I had plan B real quick to not let him get 3 or 4 lengths on me, to have a breather. Because if he gets 3 or 4 lengths, maybe five, he's cruising. And I don't need to be cruising. I need him to be pushing, pushing. And I had a horse in front of me that I was breathing on his neck the whole way, so he kept breathing down Dominus' neck. And I gave my horse a breather when I left the police station. Back to the guns, the mile, or where people say it's the mile pole. And once I creamed up next to him, like me and Darwin had mapped out, he's like, Rock, we within 2 lengths of Dominus. We started celebrating. And I creamed up to him, not even asking Jacqueline. She was just floating. I hazed the other horse that was inside. I did the dirty work to put him behind heels, to back the traffic that's coming behind me. 'Cause I know Patrick has a good horse that's coming behind me. And Patrick's a smart rider. The kind of the rest we weren't bothered about. Then the race was gets going as planned. And once I swing for home, I mean, I know we had a good shot because I didn't ask the big mare yet.
But they say your horse was so close to the rail. You got kind of like eased across to the rails that people were able to take pictures of you passing them. Is that
Oh
true?
yeah, it was. Let's just put it this way: it was a little Barbados rough house riding. It was Barbados riding. Up here the stores won't approve of that, but it's at home. It was fun. It was fun, and to come up the lane with Patrick Husbands and the great Dominus that was going with 7 in a row at the time. It was an easy task. But like you say, the people that got the pictures outside, I wasn't even seeing those people, man. I was just seeing that spa sprint. and we still had a shot. We still had a legitimate shot. After all that happened, put aside, we had a shot. We still had a shot. So I defended that. I was not going to say, well, if this didn't happen, I made it happen. People may say that's cocky. That's not cocky. At that point, I had to make it happen. I still had a shot, and I was not going to squander it.
Yeah, I was watching. I was like, yeah, you're working hard for that one, boy. You're working really hard for that one. I want to
Yeah,
ask
the
you
big
something that you touched on, Rocco. I want to ask you something. You said, you and Darwin had talked about that. So was that something that you guys had discussed before the race?
not that part. Not that part. Leaving, swinging off the home turn, but everything before that we discussed. We mapped out everything before that. If we get the jump on Dominus, we're going to take it to him. If we didn't, we're going to sit. But we was not going to let him open up 4 to 5 lengths on us. 3 at the maximum. But we were always going to have something in target pushing him if we weren't the one pushing him. But we didn't want to do the dirty work. And then once I seen a horse start to do the dirty work, I guess forced him to do the dirty work more. From my experience I learned up here, you don't always have to do the dirty work.
Wow.
But if I needed to, I would have rolled the dice and went and did the dirty work because it's hard for a horse to get a breather when you're lapped onto his flank. You don't got to ride him dirty. Just lap onto his flank, let him know that you're here. You're here. You're in the dance. You know, when a rider go to
Well,
take that breather, you don't let him take that breather. You step the pace up a little more.
it was a good win. I was really happy for you guys. It's always good to see guys set out to do something, get the dreams come true. You won the race. The trip wasn't it was all for something, so it made it a good trip for you. I'm pretty sure if you do go down again to Barbados this year, let's hope that the same thing happens, my friend.
Yeah, we'll see. We always try to bring the best horse to the race. And pretty fortunate to have the opportunity and the connections and Darwin's team that most of the time I'm gonna ride a livest horse. It's just a fact. It's like here in Oakland, most of the time I'm not gonna ride a livest horse. It's just a fact,
Hmm.
you know. And like again, it comes with age to understand that. And if I wasn't ready, I wouldn't be in that position with the team. Because it
That's
was
right.
years before I wasn't ready to fly that flag. Because that's a big task. Because you know people come from all over to represent our team and from Boston, from Montana. We got to get our guy Darwin from the Pacific Northwest to get down there too. Soak his feet, man. So it's a huge task. People are you know trying to get the best jockey to get the job done.
Now, I want to switch a little bit from Barbados. I need to get back to Barbados again, and I need to start talking a little bit more about Barbados and Barbados Gold Cup. But I want to ask you about a mount that you had at Emerald Downs, and I know in the Long Acres Mile you really wanted to win, and the horse didn't finish the race. How disappointing was that for you? And do you want to share some thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, it was very disappointing, man. The horse suffered a fatal injury. I was laying beautiful, man, sitting third. Leave the three exposed. I guess tipped him out to make my run. I mean, I was loaded. I mean, it was not like the year when I won the mile on background that I was heavily at work 3 furlongs to go. I mean, 3 furlongs to go, I was still in the dash. I guess wanted to let them know, like, I'm coming, And the winner, I was right on, like again, I say, I was right off the winner's flank, tracking him the whole way. Beautiful trip. The horse was on the correct lead. He was already on his left lead. And just quickly like that, he switched to his right lead, which the horse very rarely does in the middle of the turn. And I mean, he just snapped it off, man. I mean, it was gruesome. It was heartbroken that I left one of my friends out there, man. And I told him, and I rode with him in the ambulance, and I told him, we're going to be all right, man. Which I knew it wasn't going to be all right, but I didn't know what else to tell him. I couldn't tell him that it's not gonna be all right. I didn't want him to hear that was the last thing, to be negative, you know. I
Yeah.
told him it's gonna be all right because I know he's gonna go up there with a lot of the blessed horses that left us.
Yep.
You know, it was a cold ride home tonight on the plane, man. It was silent, silent.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Not a jockey. I wouldn't want to be in that position at all. So I'm only imagining how difficult that must have been, and how difficult it could be for a jockey.
And there
Um,
was something special behind it too. His name was Seattle Bold. You
that's right.
know, to win my second Long Waker's mile with a horse called Seattle, that was icing on the cake, man. And I mean, he was a beautiful, handsome horse. Sound. I mean, I warmed him up. He warmed up like a champ, man. He jumped out the gates and jumped right in the bridle. I had position without even putting him in position. He put himself in position. That's what good horses do. I just stayed out his way.
Well, now winning the summer meet at Thistledown, how special was that for you?
It was special. It was my first title in the Midwest. A lot of people had me class up saying that I could only win titles in the Northwest. So I finally proved that was not true. And to start 2 months behind, it was special. It was special. I mean, my agent did a hell of a job. I mean, we were riding 7 days a week. He had to keep trainers happy when I was out of town riding races because the busy breeze there is Saturday. I was in Emerald riding on Saturday. So two of our loyal clients, they moved their work schedule from Saturday to Monday. That's huge. You know,
That
trainers
is huge. Yep,
don't
that
have
is
to do
huge.
that because it's their schedule. You know, we got to follow their schedule. And it helped us out a lot. We just had to make that plane on Monday, no matter what. Only excuse they would have take if that plane crashed. There wasn't no other excuse we could have come up with. I missed the plane, or because they were dependent on us. So I was out the junction in Emerald at the airport. There was a couple of times I cut it close. I won't lie, and running through TSA. For some reason, I always had problems going through TSA in Seattle. I think this one immigration officer, she knew I was a jockey and she knew I was successful. And I'm just being straight. She didn't like it. She always gives me problems with my sticks. I would fly through Cleveland every week with the same sticks, and the people would flag me on through. Yeah, that's Rocco. He's going up to Seattle. He'll be back on Monday. And she would stop me every night. So then I
So
guess
it's the
got
same
tired.
one,
The
the
same
same one.
Same one, same one. I mean, I swear she changed her working days just to scan me every Sunday when I flew back through.
That's crazy.
So I beat her to the punch. I guess start checking my bags, and every week I will come through. I will make sure I have my Emerald Win pictures and put them on my tray to go through, so she could see them and look at them. You know, at first it was
Yes.
very aggravating because I'll come through Ohio, and I mean they will just flag me on through. They're like, "How much you win this week, kid?" I was like, man, it was a slow week. I only win two. I didn't win none this week. Luckily, knock on wood, there wasn't much blank weeks we had in Tissot, or tell them we win 4, 5, 7. You know, it was good to chit chat with those people, and then on the other hand, which I rode in Emerald for 9 or 10 years, I didn't had the opportunity to fly and riding, and so it was not like I was new to Washington. And then this lady gets had a problem with my success, but maybe she was unhappy. Hopefully, she's happier in 2024 now.
Yeah, maybe. Now I want to ask you about that though, because that flying back and forth, just the experience, you're going from track to track. Um, did that do anything for you? Did that change your perspective on your motivation to ride? Um, you know,
Yeah, I thought I used to work hard. I really did, till I had to do that. I honestly thought I worked hard till I had to do that. That's 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 hard work there. It didn't look easy. We made it look easy, but it was not easy. There was times I was catching sleep here, catching sleep there. Wherever I could have catch sleep, I was catching sleep. That's guess how I had to roll with it, and
Now, mhm, go
it
ahead.
just pushed my career to another limit. I went from last year 13% on the whole year to I finished it on this year batting at 18% win clip all year and 52% in the top three. So half of my horse I rode almost close to 600 horses. I think like 585 or 86 last year. So half of that 500, I was in the top three. I did it before Emerald, but that was home. To do it all over, it was something different. That's why notching that title was different. To win the bat at 18% all year, it made easier for my agent to get business because we were batting at a high percent. It's hard to go to a trainer, man, with an 8% rider or 12% rider. And a lot of people in Barbados, I don't think they understand that terminology. They look at wins in Barbados. Here, people don't look at wins. You know, they look at the percentage.
Hmm,
You
interesting.
know,
I want to ask you about, because you're going back and forth from Emerald to Thistledown, but you're also going to Mountaineer, you're going to Belterra, you're going to Penn National, you're going like, was there anything going through your mind when you making those trips? Were you just seeing the winner's circle, or what was it? What was it? What was the motivation there?
winner's circle, and to see how much tracks I could have won at to. I think I counted 18 so far that I've won at.
Wow, man.
And I was trying a different angle to get um to see if I could attract good trainers to see my work ethic by showing up. And 'cause a lot of people actually didn't think I was riding in those places till they actually saw me on post red.
Hmm.
So that's when people really realized I was doing it, when they actually saw me on the horse on post red. And then they're like, but he was just an Emerald yesterday, you know? um Booking the plane tickets that it wasn't no complications, that was probably more challenging than riding all the tracks. Booking the plane tickets that there were no complications and the connection times were not too long, or there weren't no connections at all, so there were no hiccups and missing. That was the harder part, figuring out the schedule. you know
Now, do you do that yourself?
Miss Penny Fitzage showed me a lot how to do it, deal with it and get it done. And a lot of times when you want to get done things correct, sometimes it's better to do it yourself. And she really helped me a lot, showing me. So then, yeah, this year was doing it myself. And then the trainers were reimbursing me back, or like, I would have had to check at Emerald waiting for me when I got there for the plane ticket. 'Cause a lot of
Pretty
people
cool.
are like, I don't know which airport you're gonna be in this week, or which track you're gonna be riding at, and I would gonna be telling them all the time. And so to avoid those mistakes and they booked the wrong airport, I just did it. You know, 'Cause like I say, I couldn't have no excuse to miss breezing the horses on Monday in Tissot. I'll get dressed every Monday morning in the Uber in my working clothes because I had to get on my first horse at 7. The plane touchdown at 5:30. Sometimes the plane touchdown at 6, and it's only 25 minutes. But almost every time I got dressed in the Uber, into my morning training clothes, and then rode the Monday afternoon.
Look, man, I want to tell you something. That's a tremendous amount of work and effort that you made to make those those tracks back and forth and so forth. And I'm hoping that at some point you'll be able to transfer that information and that knowledge to some of the younger jockeys and the guys who really are pursuing dreams of being a jockey and what it takes to be a jockey. I know you're doing this after 10 years or so, but I know I've heard your story and people saying the same thing. You've always worked hard. So that's a lot of work you're putting in. just to get on top of the game, which doesn't always play fair for you. So for the young jocks, do you have any advice for those guys in terms of if they want to make it?
They just gotta work hard. And like, I think a lot of people knowing back home in Barbados know that you can make it in America. A lot of people tell us that you can't, and I think they know you can make it now, but you just gotta dedicate yourself and like before they start riding, they gotta think of a goal. Like, well, I just don't want to ride in Barbados my whole life. Where do I want to go? You know, Everyone goes to Canada. Maybe try a different route. It's not it's scary to step out that box, but there's opportunities. It's one thing if there are not opportunities. There are opportunities out there, guys. You know, so it's okay to be scared to step out. You know, we're human. You know, but then there are also good people out there too that are willing to give opportunities when they see you got a work ethic, or when they see you're willing to learn and to be there to work. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
not if a guy tells you to jog a horse 2 rounds, man, you tell him, "Well, I'm a jockey. I don't jog horses." Or your jockey's license don't say that. It says
Mhm.
jockey. A lot of guys there think they're too big to jog horses. Jogging horses is like one of the most funnest things because then you can see how sound the horse is. Because if he ain't sound, he can't jog. He gonna hobby horse. He gonna be crabby. So if
Yep.
he's sound, he's gonna jog too. And you gonna be out there a little longer. But horses is for me is at home. I hate to see when guys rush horses from the barn area back to the track, back to the barn area for gets the $15. Those are the guys that are not on salary. 'Cause every guy's not on salary. A Gallup boy. I love to see guys stand and make the horses look down the track and make them want to do it the next day and not just rush out the stall or rush back or wash back to the wash track. You know,
Wow. Well, that's some good advice. I'm hoping that other young jockeys are listening in, and watching. I'm pretty sure it could help for the future. Now, I want to ask you about us now. Me and my team, we came down, we saw you. That was a lot of fun, man. I really want to thank you. Appreciate you doing what you did for us. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun down there, man.
that I want to
Um,
thank you, man. I mean, ever since you done that, you made my career took off to another level. You got Mark Cassidy on the radar. I mean, you got the Woodbine thing on the radar, man. I want to thank you as much as you thanking me, Derek, man. You and your team that came down. I made the time and the travel and coming across the border. Because a lot of people don't know. You could tell them the borders could be a hassle to come across, and
yeah, it could be, but
and
if you want something, you got to go after it. You know.
you gotta go after it, man. It's just So I want to thank you because you put a lot of effort into it too, man.
Well, that's what we do, man. And to be honest, as usual, everything starts with a dream. And if you got a dream, you want to, at least try it, give it a shot. We only got one life, man, and
True.
that's all we can do. Go hard at it and see what happens, and then we can smile, laugh, or whatever. Go home,
Exactly.
cry, whatever you want to do.
Hmm.
Right. So look, man, this has been awesome. I just want to talk a little bit more, just a minute or two about Barbados. I know some people are very excited to hear you talk about
Yeah, I
maybe
want to touch on
perhaps
Florida
coming.
too. I want to touch on
Oh, go
Florida
ahead.
because
Let's speak on Florida. It's a hot place.
yeah,
That's all I know.
yeah, it's a hot place, man. I want to say thank you to Mrs. Safi Joseph, his dad, his family. His son Rocco. His name is Rocco. Also, he was pretty pumped, man, and his daughter, and you know, for the opportunity. I run 31 in the stakes. That race I probably should have won. I think I moved a little early. Got not nervous, but got a little anxious, man, in front of the Florida people, and it's one of those things I learned from. But it was a great experience. I got to see one of my other good friends, Joe Bravo. He was the guy that actually beat me because he was laying right off me, like I said, by the same flank. He was stalking me. He was putting the pressure on me. And it's just one of those things. And um, all the other guys I rode at different tracks that I didn't see for a minute because I usually don't ride a Florida circuit. and it was a good experience. The trainers, I went to the training center, Palmettos, and I breathed 7 for Seffi that morning. I got to meet the guy that owned White Arabio, you know, and he has some horse here, Chris Hartman. That could be an opportunity open up for me. So all in all, it was a great trip, although I didn't win.
I think my mic went dead for a minute.
Oh yeah, you back
But
there
yeah,
now? I thought it was my mic again.
yeah, that was me. I touched something and then I realized maybe I don't know how long it was muted for, but then I quickly realized. But I'm pretty sure Safi will hear about it. Somewhere through the grapevine, and hear your thankful words. Um, was that your first time riding at Gulfstream?
Yeah, that was my very first time. I rode
Are
in
you?
Tampa in 2021, but I never went to the Gulfstream. Never
Oh,
did.
you know what? I never even checked on that because I just assumed that you rode at Gulfstream before.
Yeah, I rode at Tampa in 2021.
That I know,
Yeah,
but oh, that's 2023. That must have been a pretty cool year
2023.
for you.
Woodbine and Gulfstream, man.
That's pretty cool.
And it's all after your show. You coming out to Ohio? I'm telling you, brother.
We were just talking, and I was just saying, Rocco, would you ever consider riding at Woodbine and this and that and this and that, and no, just chit chatting, and lo and behold,
Nah,
you're at
you found
Woodbine.
out the ins and outs. You had a dream. You had a dream, and your dream was right. I mean, you started out just, I don't want to say nitpicking, but you started out just picking at me. Then you got more serious and we got more into depth into it. And within, I think, a month, it that phone call came. And I was like, man, this was Derek. This was Derek. This was all Derek, man. And when I told you, you know about it, he's like, yeah, man, I already knew. I was like, see, I
I, I
told
I
you.
can't take that credit, man. I can't take that. So don't put that on me.
Man, I know Ted and his owners and everyone had a lot to do with it, but you planted the seed. Let me put it that way. 'Cause a tree cannot grow unless you plant the seed. You planted the seed.
Man,
You
you
got
can't you can't you can't start doing that. People are going to think I'm a farmer or something now.
no man. You're just a good guy, and like you say, you're getting people out there that are not known opportunities. You're going for it, like you said. You're grasping it with both hands and you're going after it. You know.
I got a vision. I got a vision. I got something that I'm working on. It's just a matter of you stretch out your hand to say thank you. You shake someone's hand, and if someone reaches back, then that's what makes it happen. But if
Mhm.
that other person doesn't reach back, nothing doesn't happen. So that's how it goes. And thankfully, you're that kind of person. I gotta say, man. Like there's things I talk about, and one thing I always say to a lot of people about you, Rocco, is that you have a gift, and that gift is attracting people. There's a lot of people who repel people, but you've got this thing where your communication is pretty good, pretty tight. I appreciate that for a person like myself who operates on that kind of level where I need that person to reach back. If not, it doesn't happen. I
It's
can't I can't make
yeah,
I
that
can't make you walk if you don't want to walk, right? You gotta
true.
know how to walk.
That's a true fact, man.
All right. Well,
We're touching the
Barbados,
Barbados now.
Barbados.
I know everybody's excited about it.
So, there's nothing legit yet. You're still working on some fine details for
Yeah,
Barbados.
yeah. There's nothing legit yet. Only legit thing if I stay sound, I stay healthy. Um, I'll be there. You know, Hopefully I can have all three of my kids there with me too.
No, that
And
sounds like something's already in the plan.
have the family there. It's because it's gonna be a big shebang, man. We looking to try to get the three-peat this year. We like you said, we looking to do big things. If you're gonna reach, you're not gonna reach and just settle. So we reach into for the stars. So what would it be a better thing than have the family and the kids and everyone there? My grandma. Get my aunties. My mom, my dad. Because it's gonna be special. Like I never won the Gold Cup. I won't lie.
Is
Never won a Gold
it-
Cup. Rode in it 3 times. Never won a Gold Cup.
There's a lot of jockeys that never won the Gold Cup,
You know, Sandy
but
Holly
if you
won a Gold
do,
Cup, and he's a jockey from over here, and I want to get my name painted on that, whatever they painted on. I guess I want to be part of it, man. I want to be part of
nope,
the history.
that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed for you, and
yeah,
see how things go in the next few months. You
yeah.
January, February, 2 months, man.
Like I told a friend the other day, he was getting pretty excited about it. He's like, Rock, what do you think? I was like, bro, I'll tell you one thing. The horses got at least 8 more works. And 8 more works, a lot could happen.
Hmm.
You know, that's how we look at it here in America. 8 more works. That's a lot of works. That's you could tweak something, you could knock them out, could work good, you could miss a week of work, and we just got seen it happen so many times, and I guess we have more opportunities out here, have more racing to see hopes get break and stuff fall apart, and you don't know why, but it just gets part of racing, you know. And so I understand people getting excited, but we don't really get excited till like maybe the Thursday after the entries come out, maybe the Friday with the amateur races. Like you still gotta those 2 days after the entries come out, you still gotta bubble wrap the horse, you know, cause you got them sharp, you got them in tip top shape, you don't got them dull, you know. Gold Cup day, you're on the battlefield. Everybody comes sharp. It's like Breeders' Cup, you know. So, they're ready to rock and roll, you know. And Barbados is it's fun to see a horse sharp, right? I mean, it's just coming out his skin and like you know it's ready, you know. There's only one groom in Barbados. A lot of guys may not remember him, but his name was Plug. Old guy. He used to have a horse called Sugar Daddy. He's one of the toughest horses. Run with every jockey in Barbados ever got on him. Even run with me. But you put Plug to walk Sugar Daddy, he walk like Plug. Head down and droopy. You put another man to walk Sugar Daddy, he on his toes, he bucking, he kicking, he squealing. You know?
Wow, that's the relationship with the groom and the horse, man.
Yeah. And Plug is I was grateful enough to came around, and don't want to make people think I'm that old, but my dad had me in a paddock from young, man. So I know a lot of those old timers, those old heads that I mean, a lot of the young kids, they don't know what's a whisk. A whisk is like, I don't know what kind of grass it is, but it's grass that guys all just bunch it together and they rub their horses with. No brush. Back in the day, a guy, man, want to smack your head off for putting a brush on his horse, man. He gets a rubbing, okay, his horse, man, and it makes daffles, and he take the horse to the beach. He don't brush the sand out. I mean, it's all those little things that my dad helped me to learn when I was coming up because he brought me to the racetrack at such a young age. And
Hmm.
back then in Barbados, you couldn't talk. They didn't want you to ask questions.
They
You
still
know,
don't.
you had to watch. You had to watch. You know, my dad told me, son, hold this horse in a bucket of ice for 3 hours. It was that. I couldn't ask my dad why he icing a horse for 3 hours. You know?
Hey, look, man. Those are the little things that make people what they are. And from the comment from Leroy, he says stop giving me the secret. So I guess they want to keep certain things so people don't take
Man,
take
but
away.
I get what he's saying, but you do that to a person's horse up here in America, man, they'll think you're crazy. They're gonna call harsh human rights. So you're like, what is this guy doing? Like, so like those are good things. So I'm proud to share them because I was in those times to see that, man, and to see that, you know, it's because grooms are talented at home. I think grooms are more talented than our jockeys, and that's not putting down our jockeys, but just because the grooms don't get recognition, grooms are very talented at home, and I think it's because we come around the racetrack at such a young age, and you call it a lightweight. I started out being a lightweight. holding the end of the rope. And I was the happiest kid, man. I got to hold the end of a horse rope. You know, the groom still has the main part of the shank, but I got to hold the rope, man. That's before I started wanting to be a jockey or thinking about being a jockey. I just wanted to be around the horses.
That's also something to love, right? So
Yes.
that's the love that some people just got that love for horses, and no matter what, they're going to be around horses. You know, guys can't ride. Some guys can't ride, but they can love the horses and treat them well. So that's natural, so that's going to happen. Lucky for you, you've got that talent where you can ride the horses and make the grooms very happy, because
Yeah.
those grooms are very happy when they win the races, man.
Oh, beyond happy. For instance, one of my other brothers at home, Barracks, his name's Kyle. He can't ride. He could ride, but he's too big. And, the love he got for horses is just like me being a jockey. He pushes and drives me a lot, but his love is natural for horses the same way, just like the point you're just saying, you know?
Well, you know what? I want to ask you something, because the young man that moved to Florida that I had on the platform back then, did you get a chance to speak with him while you were down
Yes.
there?
Yeah, yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah. We stay in communication now, too.
Okay, nice, nice.
Yeah.
I think those youngsters who make the trips abroad, they need some good mentoring. Not that they don't have a sound head, but obviously, with your experience and other people experience, it helps. The more it helps, right? You
Yeah.
can't go wrong with more. It's just
No.
options.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. I'll leave a little bit for another time. Um, did we get everything out, Rock?
Yeah, man. See if we get my son Caden pop back in. He will love that.
Yeah, let's put him on so that at least this will be good for his age. Maybe one day he'll come on the platform and he'll be talking like the big man he is. Caden, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
You know what? I gotta apologize, man, for keeping you waiting for so
And
long. Uh, you
it's
know,
actually good to hear my dad
oh,
like
that's
talk. To listen to him, cause we're not really with each other, so I don't know what really goes on. So when I hear him talk, what happens when he's away, that's pretty good.
oh man, that's really emotional.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on and sharing that with us,
yeah,
man, because I'm pretty sure your dad enjoyed hearing that as well.
Yeah, man. He's
yeah.
a pretty solid kid, man.
Mhm. When my dad here for Christmas, we're just watching races and stuff, but like closing day on, I think Emerald, we were there too, and we got to watch it ride. Pretty cool. And my sister, she got to start for the grand parent race. That was pretty cool. Um, yeah, we had a fun time at Christmas, spending time. But my brother, the one that was in Canada, when my dad was riding for Woodbine, he was there, and yeah, he wants to see him more often too. So yeah, that's why he wants us to go to Barbados together. It's
Oh
pretty
wow,
nice
man.
because we haven't been to Barbados in 2015, I think, and it was really nice to see my grandma again this Christmas. So yeah,
Hey, Caden, thank you for sharing that, man. That's pretty awesome. Really cool.
Yeah, that's
I'm
pretty
glad
cool.
you were able to join us, man. That's really cool. I appreciate it.
yeah, and my
Th-
sister.
Do you want to share? Did you want to share to him about your road trip? How was your road trip in the Mustang?
Oh yeah,
We
me
rented a
and me and
car.
my dad we he was at the house for like a day, and then he had to go back to Emerald, and then my mom were setting up a tent, and then we're doing some chores, and then he had to go back. So we packed up my things, and I went on a little road trip with him. for like 3 hours. It was kind of nice. Got to talk. And then we stayed at his aunt's house. And yeah.
You want to tell him you got to learn to drove a golf cart too, and then the next
Yeah,
morning
I
woke
did.
me up at 5 o'clock. Dad, we ready to go to work.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool, man. Hey, Rocco, these moments are special. I can tell for you and for him as well.
Oh yeah,
I
man.
know I guess
Especially
there's some distance
especially the road
between,
trip,
right?
especially the road trip part, man. We had a drop top Mustang that we rented, man, and I
Yeah.
mean he was. We picked him up from school. It first started me and his sister pranked him, and we picked him up from school, and
Yeah.
he couldn't believe it. And I told his sister, I dropped the top and I let her yellow the top at him, Caden. And I mean, he was in awe. He didn't know what to think, man.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Uh, hey, look, guys, I appreciate that. You know what, Caden, don't be a stranger.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that you come back again, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure within a few months you'll be even more grown up, man.
Yeah. I already
Rock,
know.
thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah.
no, man.
Well,
Thank you guys, man. And I just want to say to the young kids out there, man, there are
yeah.
opportunities, man, and just strive for them. Before you guys start riding, even when you're in the jockey school, map out a little plan. What do you want to do with your career? It's okay if you want to stay in Barbados, but there are other places out there, there are opportunities. Just, and reach out to people, and they're helpful people in the USA and Canada. They're helpful people out there, man. And like I said, they see your determination, they see that you're gonna meet them halfway, they're gonna come the other half and meet you, man. And just don't just want to stick on the small island, man. Kids, like, get opportunities. A lot of people ride dirt bikes, ATVs, riding horses, riding bicycles. Barbados got
Yep,
so much talent, man.
yep.
Mm.
Football, soccer, I mean, singers. We have need more people like you, Derek, to push the Bajans and let people know about the little rock, man, the little
Dad,
Barbados,
can
man.
I say something?
Yes, please, you can, son.
Um.
Sure you can.
Well. So for you guys that are starting to ride, yes, my dad's right. You should be more like out there. I know it's scared, but my dad started at Barbados. Then he was at. Then I remember me growing up at the track. We'd be down there every single day. And now my dad's out there in the US everywhere. Now he's at Woodbine. So you guys can do it too. Just like my dad. He started at 15 too, I think. 15.
That's correct, son. Proud of you, buddy,
Mm-hmm.
man. That's a lot of information, man, that this kid gets retail, man, and like, there you go, kids, man. Like, this kid is telling you, and this gets not coming from me, and I didn't make him say that. He gets put that out there in the universe.
How old is Caden? How old are you?
12. I started writing bowls and then I kind of stopped, but I got really good opportunities. I got to meet famous people. I got to go to I got to learn so much, and I went to Vegas, and then I met some famous people that me growing up is like celebrities to me, and then I got into basketball, and then I've been trying, and I've been getting good, and I keep trying every day, no matter what anyone says. So, for young riders out there, you should never give up. Because even though it's hard, you'll get somewhere. I know. Because I started little and now I'm big. I'm big. And people make fun of me. I don't really care. They put me
Hey,
down. And they put a lot of people, a lot of people put my dad down. He doesn't give up. He keep going. He never gave up. And yeah, so just never give up, and you'll be there someday.
Hey,
Even
look,
my,
thank you for that. Thank you
yeah,
for that. That's pretty touching, actually.
That's
yeah.
pretty touching, son.
I don't
That's
know
pretty.
what else to say
What,
after that. You
what,
know,
Yeah,
whatever you're doing, even basketball, whatever, even if you're young, jockeying, whatever sport, you can do it in life. I know. I started out small, but I'm big now. I'm
yep.
trying every single day as hard as I can to make my best, just like my dad. He, he's a big, he's a big, it's a big thing on me, and he's like, he's like, he's like a really good dad, and we've been together since like when I was born. He's been growing up. Even though he's away, he's still doing his best, and that's why I want to do my best too. Because I know my dad's doing the best he can. Even though,
Appreciate that, man. I
even
know you
though,
do too.
I can tell there's a lot of love here. Rocco and Kaden,
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys both for coming
Yeah,
on. It's
thank
been
you, man.
awesome.
I
yeah,
mean, this is like I said there. This is Cole, man. Like you're a good guy, man, and to Tedston and Darwin, all these guys, man. We just keep coming together and keep making things happen, and you know, letting
yeah,
opportunities, like my son say, man. Don't give up.
yeah,
Yeah, man. I just want to let people know dreams do come true, man. So thank you again. You got to rock and roll. All right.
yeah,
So, Happy New
Yeah,
Year, guys.
buddy. I love
yeah.
that. Peace, guys.
Please,
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Man, that's awesome. 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 Hey, look, thank each and every one of you for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family. When you get an opportunity, go back and see it again. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Let's build this platform so we can bring more people on. There's some people who are saying they want to see Rafael Hernandez on. I need to get these people on. But again, I'm a one man situation here. So I need people to reach out to me too as well. And say, hey, look, pass this on and do this and do that and here and shake hands and so forth. It gets pretty tough out there. It's a competitive world. So again, you know, I'll try my best. You guys know I love Raphael, so I would love to have him on. I think he's an awesome jockey. So please let me know, give me the information and so forth. All right. So until next time, guys, we'll do it again. All right. Peace.